Hello, everyone. We're excited to welcome you to GMAT Club. My name is Shelly Heinrich. I'm Associate Dean of MBA Admissions at Georgetown McDonough, and I'm here with my colleague Briyon Ransome, also at Georgetown McDonough. And we're really excited to talk to you today about in-person versus online, advancing your career with a part-time MBA. And this is very timely for us because we launched our online version of our part-time MBA last August. So Briyon and I are going to have a great conversation today, sharing different parts and aspects of both our in-person and online formats of the Flex MBA. We're going to have a great conversation. So I'm glad you all could join us this evening, this morning, wherever you are coming in from today. So a little bit about Georgetown McDonough. I've been here for 9 years, and I really come to know and love our mission, which is to build global business knowledge and inspire principled leaders to serve the common good. So I want to focus on a few words there. So global, principled leaders, although that's 2 words, but principled leaders, and common good. You know, this is a thread of who we are and really drives a lot of our academic and program experiences. So, you know, whether you attend our in-person program or online, any of our programs, really, you will recognize that Georgetown McDonough, located in Washington, D.C., is a global community. You know, in our MBA program, all of our MBA programs combined, we have over 40 countries represented. And because DC itself is such a global town, even in our part-time program, you will have people from other countries because people from other countries are living and working in DC. So you definitely get very much a global business education. Our culture is phenomenal. So I've worked at 4 different business schools. I will say that our culture here is, is welcoming. It's yes, people raise the bar high for themselves, but they do so not at the expense of their colleagues. It's a very collegial competition, if you want to call it that. We've even used the term humbitious, humble, ambitious students. And we have a huge global network, right? As a Georgetown McDonough student, you're not only a McDonough alum, you're a Georgetown alum. So our law, our medical, public policy, foreign service, very tight-knit community at Georgetown. And, we truly believe that coming to Georgetown and the resources and community that we provide will allow you to launch into your personal and professional career goals and exceed expectations that you have of yourself, things that you don't even know are possible that we will make possible. So I could talk all about Georgetown for a long time, but we want to dive more deeply, though, into the part-time MBA, both the in-person as well as online. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Briyon, to share a little bit more about the Flex MBA. Thanks, Briyon.
Thank you, Shelly. Again, I'm Briyon Ransome, Senior Assistant Director of MBA Admissions for the Flex MBA online program. Thank you for having us, GMAT Club. I'm happy to be here. I'd like to give a brief overview of our part-time MBA programs. So all of Georgetown McDonough MBA students are graduating with the same degree, whether full-time, whether flex in person or online. You are still achieving the same career aspirations you have set for yourself. You have access to the entire Georgetown network. Also, our global business experience, which we call GBE for short, is a way to gain real-world business experience in lieu of not being able to do an internship with us. Also, so I'm going to go into more details about our Flex MBA program, starting with the Flex MBA online. You can take 24 months to 5 years to actually complete the online MBA. And we are actually welcoming our first online cohort this fall. So it's really exciting. The Flex MBA online, and we call it FXO for short. It is in response to student and market demand for an even more convenient formatting. It's the evolution of our Flex MBA, which grew from our highly successful evening part-time format. It is 54 credits to complete the program. The first half our core courses, and the second half are electives. If you want to complete the program fully online, you'll have a curated list of electives to actually choose from. And if you want to, you can certainly take electives in person on the Georgetown campus. And this includes our residencies as well. You have 2-week-long DC residencies, one in August of your first year and one in August of your second year. And also our global business experience, which is the end of your second year, which is a really exciting time. This is where you get to travel abroad for a week after working with the client for 6 to 8 weeks. And that's a little bit about, the format. And Shelly, can you tell us a bit about the in-person Flex MBA format?
Yep. Thanks, Briyon. So the great thing between whether you choose the Flex MBA in person or online is that you're also going to take the same classes. Even with the full-time, as Briyon mentioned, all the same classes, same 54 credits. It's just the modality and delivery of the courses are different. So if you're in the Flex MBA in person, you can do it in 26 months to 5 years. Now, at the time of application, you don't have to tell us how long you want to complete it in, right? So you can choose as you're going through the program, whether you want to speed it up, slow it down. Just to kind of give you an example, if you do it in about 3 years, that's approximately taking 2 classes at a time. If you take it in 5 years, most semesters you'll be doing 1 class at a time. And then if you try to do 26 months or even 24 months, as Briyon mentioned, for the online, which is very intense, you're taking almost 3 classes at a time while working full-time, which can be very daunting. With the Flex MBA, you will do about the first year and a half of your courses, core courses, and then go into your electives. Because you are on campus, you will have many electives to choose from, up to 100 electives to choose from. Those electives can be in person. There are some hybrid electives, meaning you take classes about 50% in person, 50% online. And then if there are seats available in the Flex Online electives, you can register for those as well. So very similar to the Flex Online. The other difference is that you would not do the 2 DC residencies because you're already here in residence in DC. So there's no, with the Flex Online, you're coming to campus for a week. But with the Flex Online, there wouldn't be the DC residencies. However, you would still have the global business experience at the end of your second year, as Briyon mentioned. So, okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about the academic experience of the part-time students. You've heard us talk a little bit about electives, and some of the questions you may wonder is, do you have concentrations? Before I got here about 10 years ago, we did have concentrations. And then we decided to survey our employers to see if, when they hired MBA students, if they cared about concentrations on transcripts. And what we found overwhelmingly was that employers did not care. They wanted to hire MBA graduates, not really worrying about the concentration. So we did away with them. So you now have the flexibility to choose from a list of electives, really, finding those skills that you want to fill, the gaps that you have that you want to fill, and doing them. So maybe you want to do marketing and strategy. Maybe you want to do operations and finance. You can customize it without having to worry about declaring an elective concentration. So I think that's something to think about. The other thing is that the program is as rigorous as the full-time program. So you're not going to get a watered down version of an MBA. But on the flip side, you're going to graduate being very proud that you completed just as rigorous of an MBA as our full-time students, and that you've gained the knowledge and the return on investment that you would had you chose to go full-time. So we have the same professors teaching across programs. You're not getting kind of the B list of professors. You're getting our A list professors, no matter which program you're in, and a phenomenal experience. And then the last thing I'll mention is that we do have the electives that called intensive learning experiences that you'll have the opportunity to take if you so choose. These are intense, and they're learning experiences, as the acronym would say, in that you can do 1 week on campus during the day and get an entire elective credit knocked out, or you can do 2 weeks in the evening, either on campus or online, and get an entire elective credit knocked out. So it is a way to shorten your program, essentially, to the lower end of the the range. So that's a little bit about the academic experience. And now I'd love to turn it over to Briyon to talk a little bit more about in-person versus online.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Shelly. For the Flex MBA online program, the core classes will be a mix of asynchronous and synchronous content. The electives will either be 50-50 synchronous or asynchronous or 100% synchronous. So, that means that, with the asynchronous, you are pretty much working, on your solo in a platform called Canvas. And you'll also have a live version where you are, getting to interact with your class and your professor. Also, just as we spoke about earlier, the residencies, you have those to complete. You also have in-person electives, on campus. If you are in the DC area, you'll have that option as a online student. And that's if you want a greater variety of electives as well, from what is offered online. And also, as Shelly spoke about, the ILEs, if you would like to, which are the intensive learning experiences. For the in-person flex program, the core classes are all in person, either Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. The electives are in person, can be hybrid, or you have the ability to take online. And for both programs, you'll go through core classes as part of a cohort, which this is a group of students, about 50 to 60, that essentially become your family and you build friendships and partnerships out of. So great. So Shelly, can you speak a little bit about Georgetown McDonough's career resources and progression, and a little bit about, what those would, interact with dealing with the McDonough Career Center throughout the process?
Yeah, sounds good. So I think, when people pursue an MBA, yes, you're coming to gain knowledge from the classes, but a big part of an MBA is access to the Career Center, and the ability to pivot jobs, either function or industry. One of the big benefits of coming to Georgetown's Flex MBA is that we do provide you access to the same Career Center that our full-time students have access to. This is something that's unique. Of the schools that I've worked at, the access has not been this great. Actually, when I started working at Georgetown, I said, wow, you're allowing your part-time students to come to the employer info sessions, to drop their resumes when employers are hiring our students. And the answer was yes. We have a very one McDonough approach to the Career Center. And so just know, as a part-time student, if you are looking to pivot jobs and you want to go through the traditional MBA recruiting, you can do so in the year in which you're graduating. So employers come to hire MBA graduates. So in that probably third year, maybe that you're graduating, or if you choose to graduate in 4 years, then you can start going through what we call on-campus recruiting. We have a phenomenal staff. We have 14 industry practice leads that come from industry. So if you're looking to go into consulting or finance or marketing, these coaches have worked in those industries before. They also do employer relationship development. So we have great established employer relationships. I think this is one of the biggest things that I learned about when I started working in kind of the MBA program environment, was that employers are coming to hire you. Whereas if you're in the real world, you're going to Indeed.com, you're going to job databases, you're going to LinkedIn, you're applying one-off to various jobs. But in an MBA program, they're coming for you with a goal to hire from the MBA market. So it is an experience like none other, and certainly a great return on investment for you. So in terms of where our students are going post Flex MBA, it mirrors a lot of what our full-time students do. They're going into consulting, their finance, technology, nonprofit, real estate, entrepreneurship, energy. I mean, you name it. They're going into all different industries. I will say that the difference between the in-person and the online program would be that if you're looking to make a pretty major career shift, like you want to go from working in engineering to working in management consulting, or you want to go from nonprofit education to finance, something that would be considered a pretty strong 180, Either a full-time MBA or the Flex in-person program would probably be better for you, and I'll share with you why in just a second. But if you're looking to make just a quick career enhancement, you want to get a promotion, maybe you're working in technology for one industry and you just want to pivot to a different industry. So, you want to make a little bit of a tweak to your career, but it's not a drastic 180, then either, any of the programs will be fine. And the reason I say this is if you're looking to make a drastic career change, again, like engineering to consulting, teacher to finance, you're going to need to be on campus a lot, right? Like you're going to need to be networking. You're going to need to be going to all the employer sessions, getting involved in the clubs, going to the career tracks, going to the Wall Street tracks, all of that. And so, being in person will just give you the access to do that. Now, if you're doing the Flex online program and you have access to come to campus, then you have full access to do that. So that's another thing with our online program. If you live relatively close in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, or New York area, and you can come to these, then sure, you have full access. We don't exclude you from anything. So that's kind of the differences perhaps between the in-person and online programs, is just your ability to have time to come to some of these events. But we will have complete curated online programming just for our online students who can't come to campus. There will be some employer sessions that are online, so you'll still have a lot of access. And then, in terms of statistics of how many of our students in the Flex program are switching industries, job titles, functions, it's about 40%. So about 40% of our students are doing some type of switch after the program. So just to give you an idea, the others are maybe doing promotions, or perhaps they changed companies during the program, in which case we don't report on that. One thing that I will leave on is that your career progression and resources isn't just about your job. We hope that our program really allows you to develop professionally as a leader. Our Jesuit influence really focuses on this theme, cura personalis, which means care of the whole person in Latin. And so we want to train you to develop as a whole person, not just a great accountant, not just a marketer, but someone who can take care of their people, become in the C-suite, someone who understands and embodies diversity and inclusivity, and giving and receiving feedback, and leading through change, leading through tough times. And so we have all this programming through Operation Cura Personalis and through our leadership clubs, where we do develop you as a whole person. And so that's a whole nother part of our program that we're very, very proud of. Okay. So with all that, I'd love for, Briyon, for you to talk a little bit about what you believe are the advantages of our part-time MBA programs.
Yes. So we have many advantages at Georgetown McDonough that will take you far. You'll build lifelong relationships and friendships and partnerships, like I spoke about earlier. The benefits of being a part of our community are endless, starting with currently, ranking with U.S. News at number 9 for our part-time MBA, something, I was just made aware of. It's hot off the press, super exciting time. We were 17 last year, and now we are at number 9 in 2023. So that's a great thing to, kind of scream from the rooftop. So really excited about that. Our global business experience, plus our 2 in-person DC residencies that are within our Hariri building where McDonough is, which is on a historic Georgetown University campus. It's great scenery. You can definitely see over DC. You can see some great spots, the monument. And, we're right there by the historic Georgetown, where it's great shopping and, great places to interact and network and build relationships. We have the same rigorous faculty as the full-time students, and the Flex MBA Online is not just a passive program, and some of the online programs that are out here, they are completely asynchronous. But, at McDonough, we value the class discussion, which is super, super important just to have that connection. You also have access to the McDonough Career Center, which is a great, important portion of McDonough as a whole. Our community, which is something to brag about, is super collaborative, vibrant, supportive, and it's not cutthroat. You'll also have on-campus activities, and this includes events in person and virtual as well. We have some of the greatest alumni from all over the world that have graduated, from Georgetown McDonough, and they have the mentality of Hoyas helping Hoyas. So that's something that we stand by and something that's super important to us. We also have teachers who are actually who want to teach, like be in the classroom. And this goes back to our Jesuit roots. We like to hire teachers who want to teach and not just research and publish. Also, our location is super strong in DC, where we have recruiters who come to McDonough. On Fridays we have career days, so they actually come to campus, they come to you. And also our global reputation and focus. And after speaking about all the great things at McDonough, I like to briefly touch on the application process. So right now we are accepting applications for round 4, which the deadline is May 2nd. However, it will be rolling admissions after that. And just to speak about the application components, of course, you will need a transcript, which you can apply with your unofficial transcript. And that should definitely display like your confer date, your grades, and your grading scale, also your essay. So we require a written essay, and you get to choose from 3 different options, like topics to speak about on your essay. Also, we have our video essay, which is 1 minute. And this is a really cool and fun part for me because, you actually can sit there and take some time to actually speak about something that you're passionate about, whatever your hobby is. So 1 minute is not a long time. We don't mind if you go a little bit over, but we know that sometimes 1 minute is a short time to kind of squeeze that into. But just focusing on something like that is really great. Like on your application, we're looking at qualitative and quantitative. However, I think the video essay is a super cool and fun part just to get to know a little bit more about you. Also, you'll need 1 recommendation letter from your direct supervisor, and also your test. Your test could be GRE, GMAT, or executive assessment, unless you request a test waiver, which that is that is the option. Also, your application would then be read by someone from our MBA admissions committee, and then you will possibly receive an invite to an interview. Now, interviews are offered by invitation only. However, those invitations to interview are extended following each application deadline and will continue up until the decision release date. Now, additionally, waitlist candidates may be invited to interview after initial decisions are released. And also this year, has been an anonymous interview assignment. So you could be interviewed by someone from our MBA admissions team, MBA ambassador, or an alumni. So you'll never know. That's the great surprise about it. But it's still a great process and something to experience. So also, and then, just knowing why McDonough, why you want to come to McDonough, why you applied to Georgetown, explaining, why you chose to apply with us, and taking the time to actually practice interviewing can be super beneficial for you as well, just to kind of prep you. And you already know, like you highlighted what you're going to speak about and things like that. So, now that I've covered, some great key points, and Shelly has spoke about some great things about Georgetown, about our online and in-person MBA. I want to turn it back over to Shelly just to kind of speak about the future of our part-time MBA and Georgetown McDonough as a whole.
Thanks, Briyon. I'm excited to apply. So you made me excited to apply. So that's great. All right. So, Georgetown is constantly moving and on the rise. We launched this program. We've launched a few other programs the last couple of years. So we don't rest on our laurels. We don't sit still. We have a great dean and great leadership who are really pushing us forward, pushing the boundaries, making sure that our students are prepared for this new market, this new world, which is ever changing. And so, as part of that, sometimes I'm asked, what are the dean's areas of priority? What does the future look like for Georgetown? And the areas that he is placing priority on. So again, this is where we want to grow towards. There's lots of great assets that we're already doing now, but what are the things that we want to add that are new and different? And so some of those key areas, there's 5 of them. One is the business of sustainability. So, in the last 2 years, we've launched actually a degree in sustainability and environment. We've launched within our MBA programs a certificate of sustainability. There's just a lot more faculty that teach in this area and a bigger focus at the university. The second is the business of healthcare. So we will be launching a certificate in healthcare next year. Certainly, the healthcare industry is booming, growing, and ever changing. So we want to make sure we're preparing our students for that. The third is AI and the future of work. This is something we've actually been doing for a while now, but when I came to Georgetown maybe 9 years ago, we had a couple of technology classes. Now we have 20 electives in AI and technology. So, it's a huge focus. We have a Hoyalytics Analytics Club who does training for our students on various platforms, Tableau and SAS and Python. And so we recognize that our students need to be very aware and skilled in this. Now with ChatGPT, we've got to be aware of how this is affecting us as well. So more to come. The business of global affairs, it's funny for me to say this is a future focus because this is the thread of Georgetown, but global is always changing as well. And so we always keep an ear to the market. You'll notice that we're, even launching a new degree program in another country, which we'll make an announcement about in a few months. But always thinking about global and how that impacts our students and our education. And then lastly is entrepreneurship. Also, at different points in the economy, startups and entrepreneurship and venture capital are booming, and this time is now. And so we see more student interest, emphasis being placed on entrepreneurship as well. And so those are the 5 areas of future investment and focus, in addition to the things that we already are doing. So Briyon and I can talk forever about these programs because we do believe in them, but I want to, I think at this point, maybe take some questions that we have from, the audience. So it looks like there's some great questions that have come in. So maybe I'll just kind of start asking a few of these, and then we can answer. So let's see. There is one question. Does my background career before the MBA matter in terms of admissions and success in job searching after graduation? Maybe, Briyon, do you want to talk about this? Like, how does your prior background matter coming into an MBA?
So definitely coming into an MBA, when you apply, we definitely require at least 2 years of work experience. So definitely having some work experience where you've been out in the working world and had maybe some projects, team projects you've worked on, whether it could be in business, whether in finance, you could definitely be in the military. So you can be from any background and coming into your MBA, but definitely having some work experience, especially, post undergrad, would definitely be helpful when applying for the program, and just showing some type of quant background, whether it's strong, whether it's mild or medium, just kind of touching on some of, that finance, accounting, physics or economics. But also I just definitely say just have some work experience and definitely highlight some of those key aspects from, your career path and in your field, and, just different situations, have those in your back pocket to kind of talk about, if you, had some initiatives like leading some teams within your role, even if you had some volunteer opportunities where you kind of took the lead and led a team and planning some initiatives, even if they did work or not work, just something that was in place, and just knowing what you learned from that is super helpful.
Great. Sounds good. Let's see. There's another question. Do you recommend an MBA for someone who's looking to turbocharge their career and not stay in their current company or even industry? So, an MBA can be for people who maybe want to stay in their current industry and function, but have reached kind of a ceiling. And in order to get promoted and move up, you've got to have a graduate management education degree and an MBA specifically. So it can be for those people. It can also be for those who want to completely switch their industry and function. The great news about an MBA is it has longevity ROI. And when I say that, I mean, let's say you do an MBA and want to stay within your current industry or function, but then 5 years later, you want to do a complete pivot. Employers know that because you got an MBA, you will have those skills to make a pivot. And so it has a long-standing ROI and a brand that will be a part of your personal brand. Okay, here's the next question. Let's see. Changing industries or job functions is common among full-time MBA students, but what proportion of students are able to make such a drastic career change with part-time programs? So I have the stats right here. I'm going to answer them. So we do, I don't know if you can see this, I have a virtual background, but we do have this Flex MBA employment report on our website. I'd highly encourage you to look for our website and see it, but I'll tell you what the stats are. So post Flex MBA, 39% of students reported changing their industry. 49% of students said they changed their function. 45% of students changed in job title, and 54% of students changed in their company. Now, those aren't all mutually exclusive, right? So some people could have changed their company and job title or changed their industry and job title, but we asked it separately because we really wanted to understand. So you can see, I mean, between 40 and 50% of students are having some type of change. So hopefully that gives you a good idea. Okay, can you talk about class composition of a part-time class, particularly representation of international students or students who don't attend regular classes? Briyon, do you want to jump in here a little bit about the class profile?
Yes. So we don't have a class profile currently for the actual online MBA. However, we do have a class profile for the Flex MBA online program. The great thing about it is that's just like statistics of individuals who have applied, and then, you kind of bring them into a whole. But just to kind of focus on that, for our 2022 class MBA profile, we do have a lot of individuals who go within the government and international studies, math and natural science, field engineering, also economics, business, humanities. Also, we do have 40% of females in our MBA. We are 32% U.S. diversity. Also, with that, it is 6% international, 13% U.S. military, and 13% of our underrepresented persons, actually. And then our average GPA is about 3.46. So we do have a good mix of different individuals with different backgrounds. We have a super diverse community. We are made up over about 40 countries. So, when you actually come into our building, you'll definitely see a representation of a lot of different, nationalities and cultures. So that's something that's very important to us, and something that actually makes our community super, important, and continue to make us thrive and, and to stay great.
Great. Awesome. Perfect. Let's see. There's a question here about how common are test waivers to part-time MBA applicants, and in which case are test waivers given? So, people can choose to. So on our website, you'll see a list of criteria to see if you're eligible for a test waiver. We look at your undergraduate GPA. We look at classes that were quantitative that you may have taken in undergrad. We look at any quantitative work experience you had. So there is a great list on our website of how you could apply without a test. So with our Flex MBA, you don't have to first apply for a test waiver and then get accepted or not. If you meet the criteria, then you can apply without a test. If for whatever reason you didn't meet the test waiver criteria, we would reach out to you, waitlist you, tell you need to take a test. But in general, if you're meeting the criteria, which is pretty detailed, you would be fine. Okay. I think Briyon just touched a little bit upon kind of industries, careers most represented, or undergraduate majors. I think she touched on. In terms of industries, careers most represented, though, I'm also looking at this employment report, and pre-MBA people in our Flex program were coming in. The top areas were financial services, nonprofit education, consulting, technology, government, which makes sense. We're in Washington, D.C., right? Our Flex program is drawing upon the people that work in D.C., so it's representative of those companies. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay. It looks like any last questions that people might have?
Well, those are some great questions, Shelly. I really appreciate those questions.
No, I think this is great. So, I would say we hope this is not the first or last time that we get to chat with you. We have a lot of great opportunities to interact with our team. You can set up one-on-one chats with any member of our admissions team. Briyon is the lead for our Flex Online program, but we have an entire team that is happy to chat with you. We have walk-in hours from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, if you just want to come to campus. We do class visits on campus and virtually. And then we just do a lot of different events throughout the year, application webinars, info sessions. So we hope that you get to join us, get to know us virtually or in person. I think once you visit our Hariri building, both Briyon and I have pictures of our Hariri building here, you'll just really embrace the community and everything that we love about Georgetown. So we look forward to partnering with you on this journey to pursue your MBA. And we thank you for spending your time with us today. Have a great one.